Recently, I had posted about some of the struggles that I've been enduring and the hardships that I've been going through over the last 24 years since the horrific car accident that myself and members of my family were involved in. And I just wanted to elaborate a little bit more on the context of some of it. And hopefully, this will be a beacon of light for somebody who is currently struggling, currently living with TBI. And yeah, I hope it'll speak life into you and your journey. 2002, I was involved in a drunk driving car accident that took the lives of two and forever changed many. And for me personally, I suffered a severe pediatric TBI, which TBI stands for traumatic brain injury. And as a result of that, I was put in an induced coma for 2.5 days on life support. I woke up on the third day, and from that point, December 6th, 2002 to December 24th, 2002, I was going through rehab. I was going through basically inpatient care and trying everything to get back home, basically. So, nearly 3 weeks after this horrific incident that happened, I was pretty much back to daily life like it had never really happened before. And that's the reality of TBI is that it can be a visible injury, or for most, it can be an invisible injury because the severe effects sometimes are more internal and cognitive or emotional. And especially when you suffer it as a child, the effects could be later on in life to where you don't notice it right away. But then when you get in your early teens, late 20s, or even mid 20s, you start to notice behavioral, emotional changes that you didn't necessarily have in the very beginning. And that was exactly the case for me. Going through school, going through having to try to study and try to learn, retain, comprehend, analyze, and understand the information that's being given to me, whether it's through a book, through a lecture, through a video. Since the fifth grade, I have never been good at it, like never. And the amount of rehab that I went through over the years, it never really helped me, if I'm being honest. The skills that I was being taught by therapists and by specialists, for some reason, it just never really I was never able to apply it to stuff in school and stuff in my personal life or even career wise. And, I don't know why I can go into a gym with no experience whatsoever, with no background in weightlifting or strength training or mobility work, just long distance running. And, I can transform myself from 130 pounds to 182 pounds. I'm able to do bench press, deadlift, squat, weighted dips, weighted pull-ups. I'm able to do all that stuff now, but day one I wasn't able to. I'm able to teach myself new things, new skills, new techniques, all just by watching YouTube videos or by like picking people's brains who are more fluent and more experienced in that area than I am. But when it comes to academics, I'm not able to do that. And a lot of that has to do with the brain injury itself. I have what's called a mild neurocognitive disorder. It'll feel like there's no hope for you. It'll feel like you're not getting anywhere. But what I've learned through time and through trial and tribulation is that you have to adapt to it and you have to learn to grow through whatever you're going through, and have people around you to sharpen you, to pick you back up when you fall down. I've fallen down many, many, many times in my life and many times in my career. I tried going to the military. I tried EMT school. I tried becoming a firefighter. I tried doing other things that were very heroic and very out of my comfort zone. And I failed every single time. And if it wasn't for some people who are still in my life to this day that dusted me off and picked me back up and got me on the path again, I probably wouldn't be in this position I'm in now, if I'm being completely honest with you. Not everybody has that, unfortunately. I didn't really have a support system growing up. Like in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, when I was severely struggling, like severely, I'm not trying to play the victim card at all. I just want you to be totally understandable of where I'm coming from. Like I've severely been depressed. I've severely struggled with PTSD and, feeling sorry for myself, feeling like a hamster in a wheel, not getting anywhere, using so much time and energy. And, why God am I not getting anywhere? I'm still in freaking retail. I'm still having to deal with these BS customers and this BS environment and all these different things. Like, I know I was saved and my life was restored for a reason, for a purpose. I have so much more to give, so much more to bring. Why is no girl really taking me seriously? Why all these different things? Why me? Why me? Why me? And then you get to the point where you say, why me? But why not me? It's going to take a very special type of girl to want to join me on this journey to be my wife. If I am single for the rest of my life, but I'm at peace, I would rather choose that than be in a relationship or be married and be miserable. Career wise, for the last 19 years, because I started working when I was 15 years old, I've endured a lot of crap. I've been in positions to where I've just had to hold my tongue and keep to myself and not speak out, not speak back, just go with the flow and, let people think they're right, let people think that they're doing everything, the right way when actually it's wrong. And, being chronically fatigued, chronically and emotionally just drained, all that's been affecting my physicality and physical performance as well when it comes to strength training, when it comes to running. And, it's just been it's been a burden, if I'm being completely honest, all that stuff. And it's not easy, especially when you're on a full time basis and that's your job and that's the income that you have to bring home. It's definitely not easy. And I decided that, Joseph was in prison for 17 years of his life. I'm not trying to Bible bash, but I just want you to hear me just for a second. Joseph in the Old Testament was sold into slavery by his own brothers, by his own flesh and blood. Now, if he could go through all that and then yet come out on top as second in command of Egypt, right behind Pharaoh, this dude who was a slave was then imprisoned at the lowest of the lows. I'm thinking to myself, as time goes on, why can't that be me? I want to be the most influential person that can help somebody who's struggling so bad in the depths of, sorrow and misery and pain, because I know exactly what that's like. If I can do that for somebody that needs it, then I've already won. Everything I've ever been through in my life, whether it be traumatic or tragic or horrible, it's all been worth it. And I've been through some serious shit, guys. I'm not trying to play the victim card again, but I've always said that at 34 years old, I've been through more trials and tribulations than most people 2 or 3 times my age. I don't say that arrogantly. I don't say that lightly. It's just the God honest truth. There are also times to where you cross paths with people and they teach you more than you teach them. So it's like, you're learning about how much worse it could be, like how much more, suffering could happen to somebody. Some people are living with so much worse things than I am, going through so much more like pain and sorrow and misery. But then you are brought back to reality of, okay, this isn't as bad. I still want to get out of this situation. I still want to do something much bigger and better and do something with my life, but it's just not the right time. And that's why I decided to go back to school and finally finish my degree after 15 years and then move forward and then maybe go to grad school and then, continuing to build my YouTube and continuing to build this podcast platform and, helping people achieve what they want to achieve as well. It's not about me necessarily. I'm just the vessel that's being used to help other people in their own lives. Like that's really the main purpose for this whole thing is having the mentality of, okay, I can go through so much trauma, I can go through so much stuff neurologically that I can still have this successful career, that I can be this super awesome person that other people want to be like and emulate and learn from. But at the end of the day, it's not about me. So I hope this will resonate with somebody. I hope everything that I've shared in this podcast episode will help you or help somebody in need. And please share this with somebody if you think that it can definitely help them. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. I hope you guys will continue to watch, continue to inspire, and continue to join me on this journey. And until next time, I will see you on the other side.